Welcome to the DL Gaming Podcast. This episode, we're going to be talking about Guntouchables, Sworn, Keep Driving, and Root. But first, my name is Christian.
I'm Bobby.
I'm Amanda.
I'm Ender's Logic. I'm glad we got through all that without a hiccup there. That's incredible. I can't. It was so good that I have to stop the show to talk about it.
Why did you? The Ender's Logic intro, it always catches me off guard. I think it's bad mojo to start the show on the Ender's Logic. I don't know.
Let's see how it goes, man. Let's see how it plays out. I rolled the dice. So far, snake eyes. Let's go.
Okay. Before we get to what we're talking about, Amanda, what are we plugging this week?
We are plugging our new and improved updates to our Discord, and we're officially announcing an amazing role of community manager going to Tag Loro. So congrats, Tag, on being our community manager. If you guys want to check out kind of the awesome things that he has been doing to the server, then you can go to dlgaming.net and join our Discord. And in the Discord, you're going to see in the announcements that he has pinged a community announcement, kind of introducing himself as a community manager and just some things that he has changed and helped with the server, some good quality of life updates. You know, you could call this the Digital Logic Discord 2.0 if you want, but there are 3 new roles. We've got the Decky role, which opens up your, not to be confused with Decals, but the Steam Deck. So for all your Steam Deck and handheld PC kind of things, there's that Decky role. We've got a Deal Monger role in case you really want to know the new deals coming out and the free stuff, which is great. And shout out to Burn Division for the suggestion. And then Tag Loro has started doing these things, these weekly discussions in the Discord. And so if you want that role and you want to be a part of that and find where those things are when they're posted and you get notified, then you'll get the Deep Thinker role. So a lot of cool things, changes happening to our Discord. So definitely plug in that and shouting that out and check that out. Also, too, speaking of the fun and new things coming up, this episode obviously airs on Tuesday, so this Saturday we're having our game night featuring Ender's Logic. We got, if you're listening to the live show, this is the last day that you can vote. If you're listening to this on all of the streaming things and, you know, Spotify, all that stuff, you'll just have to see what got won. So this Saturday, though, be there. It's going to be fun. Game night will be a good time. And so, you know, I just had to, of course, ping that because that's great. So, but other things that we're going to ping because we ping things. So, Bobby, what you pinging this week?
This week, I am calling attention to Traveler's Rest. This is a game that I talked about a couple weeks, maybe months ago. A fun little farming restaurant management sim, but they have now added online multiplayer, but only in their beta version. So you actually have to opt into this. They recommend saving your saved games just in case those get corrupted. But yes, you can now play online multiplayer with Traveler's Rest. If you remember that review, I really liked this game, but it had a big problem with the tutorial. There was this fox that just was talking way too much, but I don't know. Out of all the farming sims I was trying to find to replace Stardew Valley, this one came pretty close. So I'm excited to check out the multiplayer.
Let me remind you what I talked about by telling you what I hate about it.
Yeah, I listened to that segment over. Most of it is on our YouTube. It's called Stardew Valley Addict Discovers Traveler's Rest. So check that out if you want. But when you listen back to it, I would say distribution is like 15% positive, 85% negative review.
That fox was a big problem in that game. I'm telling you.
But he loved it.
I love it.
Remember, he started the segment with, remember that game I loved or I thought it was really good?
Yeah.
85%.
This fucking fox character. All right, cool. I'm going to ping the Canadian Game Awards. Happened this weekend and some winners were announced. So I thought, you know, there's this tariff thing going on, and in Canada there's this movement to support local. I think obviously any indie game made anywhere in the world I will support, not just Canadian, but it is a cool opportunity to maybe highlight some games you didn't know were made in Canada. So Homeworld 3 won most innovative for the damage on the mothership that's persistent from level to level. So wherever your mothership gets hit, it's kind of like a battle scar, and you'll take that throughout the whole game. That's kind of cool. Dragon Age Veilguard won for best soundtrack, and Balatro, Game of the Year, won for just being a really addictive, fun game. And that was made by someone in the middle of Saskatchewan, a mysterious someone. I should mention, not much is known about our friend Local Thunk, and I think he likes to keep it that way. So, Canadian Game Awards winners, check out the live stream on YouTube. I think it's about an hour long. It's a pretty short show. Yeah.
Christian, I got an email from Trump that says that I can only enjoy 75% of that. So I'll watch it, but I'm not going to love it. You know?
I'll end at the 45-minute mark. All right. What are you pinging, Emilio?
I am pinging. I know I talked about these headphones already because I bought the wrong ones. I bought the wired ones, and I did like them very much. But the main reason, these are the SteelSeries Artist Pro. The main reason, or like the thing that made me say I gotta get those, was the infinity battery thing that it has. It has cool names for everything, right? So it's infinite battery. So it's hot swappable batteries, and it's worked pretty flawlessly. You just, you're running low, you have the other one charging, you just swap them. You never have to charge it. There's never been a wire. There's not even a hole for a wire here anywhere. It's awesome. So that's been good. It has a bunch of other stuff too that I really like. It has a flow chart of priorities. So if one thing is off, it'll automatically go to the next sound thing that you pick. So for my output, if these are off, it'll automatically go to my screen speakers. And if my microphone on these are off, then it'll automatically go to these. I don't have to go to my system tray anymore and be switching things around because I already have a list of the order of execution. It's pretty cool.
Oh, cool.
What else does it do? It has. Watch. Wait for it. Oh shit! You're gonna have to wait a long time. There's a. Here it is. Got it. Oh, look at this thing. Look at that thing.
What are we looking at, Emilio?
We're looking at his dongle.
This is my microphone. The microphone, the dongle is a stealth dongle, and it comes out of the side like a go gadget mic.
Like a tentacle.
All but the color I love, because I don't know why I went with white for the first time ever in any peripheral, and I found out why I don't buy white.
You look fresh, dude. You look fresh.
I think those headphones are so awesome, by the way. Like the Steel, I did the same thing, Emilio. I got the Steel series, but I went to get the Nova 7, but I got wired instead of wireless. And I was like, well, shit. The whole point was to get wireless. But it's nice because the Arctis Nova 7 is like really solid as well. And that one is rechargeable by USB-C. And so I found that the battery life for that was fantastic. It sounded so good too, because like using it for Tarkov and Call of Duty, really getting the full kind of 360 sound is really, really well on those series and that headset. It's a wonderful headset. So I'm glad that the Steel Series Pro is working out really well for you, because Steel Series is an awesome brand. And the headphones are fantastic. Yeah.
It's pricey. It's over $300, but I needed one, and my last set lasted 4 or 5 years. So if this lasts that long, then it's totally worth the money. A couple obviously has noise cancellation. It also has noise cancellation on your mic. So if there's ambient noise, it'll still only pick up your voice, which is great, especially when you have little ones running around all the time. And and the other thing is there's this giant knob over here. That's kind of like a base station. I'll show it to you guys. That's kind of I think a lot of the Steel series have this thing. So this big knob right here, it's volume obviously, but you could also use it to change the chat versus game sound. So instead of going into the game sound and always turning your game down, you could just mess with the mix between the two and find the perfect balance within seconds. It's awesome.
Neat.
And if anybody's excited and looking into this, so you're right, most of the ones that you're wearing are $300. But there is a cheaper one. I'm seeing Steel Series Arctic Nova 7, which isn't the exact same thing, but the one that I was talking about where it plugs in by USB-C, that's going for $140 right now.
Mm-hmm.
There's other ones, the Pro wireless one right now with the same little charging packs and the little radio dial thing that you just showed. Probably not as good as the one that you have, but a better, maybe more affordable point of entry for this series. It's like $180 at Best Buy right now, but there are sales going on for it at the moment.
These were $40.
I can't recommend
it's time
those.
to upgrade. I might get the white too.
We're all gonna look the same. We can all twin. Yeah. No, this is probably my favorite headphone series. Actually, is the Steel series. They're awesome. I just got this one because it's affordable, but the ones you're wearing, they're nice.
Now that you say that, I think, I've always been a Logitech person, but as far as headphones go, my last two were still series. So, and
there's Logitech. Hey, that's out of the back pocket. All right, Amanda, what are you pinging this week?
I am pinging. So, I should have brought it up probably on the last episode since it was so Civ themed, but Civilization 7, I am not done with. So we'll talk about it because they are spring 2025 coming up right around the corner. It's February. It's about to be spring. They are about to be launching a Civ 7 VR on the MetaQuest 3 and 3S.
It looks so cool, dude. Like the concept is, Okay, sorry. Keep going.
It looks so good, but I have one burning question, dude, because will I be able to multitask and play RuneScape while in VR and Civ?
Probably not. Goddamn, yeah.
I'm just joking. I'm joking. I think that the Civ 7 VR is going to be so awesome and so sick. I wish that it was kind of being done through Steam, though, as well, in Steam VR instead of only being MetaQuest. But whatever, I get it. They want their money. And so it's fine. But it looks super cool. You can immerse yourself through everything and really kind of be living inside of the civilization that you're creating, which is so sick. I mean, that's going to be amazing.
To see the buildings come up, it looks so cool. I wish, so in Civ 4, the map was a sphere. And if you went too far to the left, you would obviously end up on the other side. The rest of the Civs aren't quite like that. It's like a flat map. But for VR, how cool would it be? You spin the globe, you're zooming into the globe. It's like you're some sort of satellite alien entity or something. Instead of this table version where it just looks like it's like Catan or something on a flat table. Opportunity missed.
I get that it's VR, but what is the perspective? Are you like a giant on the ground, or you don't have any perspective? You can go anywhere.
It seems to me like it's kind of like Demio, when you're a VR with Demio, where kind of what Christian just said, where you're almost like playing Catan and it's right there. And part of me, once again, I guess I'm just being kind of too picky. I'm not trying to poo-poo on it because it's amazing that they're doing this, especially when you're talking about a game as grand and as huge as Civ. It's amazing that they're doing it. But it would have been so cool if you just got it like Demio. Because when Demio came out, it was you bought it and you also got the VR edition because you own the game.
Yeah.
This is probably going to be another fucking $70 or $80 to play this when I already own it. So it's we'll see, but
you deserve it. You bought Civ and you fucking deserve the VR version too. God damn
it. It is true.
I'm not paying $200 for the same game, dude.
Totally not. Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll see. I don't think it's official how much it's gonna be. But I mean, dude, if they're making it only through Meta's gonna want their coin. So I feel like it's gonna at least cost something. It's not gonna be like Demio where you're just everybody with the PC edition. Here you go. You get VR. I wish, but I doubt it. I'll see. I'm cautiously optimistic though. So we'll see.
As I prepare for my first kitchen raid during this podcast, one last thing for these headphones. Range is incredible. I'll be usually by the time I turn the corner into the kitchen, you guys start to cut out but now it's crystal clear. So I'm gonna come back and actually know what you guys are talking about, and instead of pretending like I knew what I thought you were.
This motherfucker this whole time
he was changing everything, dude. It's changing everything.
God damn, this guy. All right, well, moving on down to highlights. So those are the things we mentioned at the top of the show. Games we've been playing this week, and Bobby's been playing. Has anyone? Sorry, before you jump into Kim Possible, have we've all watched that show or heard the theme song?
Yeah.
At least Kim Possible. That's how I read the title of. Is it just me? It's giving Kim Possible energy, I guess you could say. I don't know. No.
Yeah, maybe.
It's it is
combining two words here, gun and touchable.
Okay.
Yeah, so Guntouchables is the game that I played this week, and I'll be honest, the only reason I checked this game out was because it is being published by Ghost Ship Publishing. Ghost Ship Games, who makes DRG, has their own publishing company, and they publish a lot of games, including this one, which is a 1 to 4 player co-op roguelike shooter. It's got these funny looking characters that look like Russian nesting dolls or stacking dolls. And it's like an isometric view, and you run around and you kill a bunch of zombies, basically. It's a pretty straightforward concept. It's got card-based upgrades, which appear to be like the new thing. It's kind of funny how everything's in like card format now. It's like, these are just upgrades like any other game has, but they have to like work in the card. Like they put them on cards, and it's like card-based. And I don't know. It's a very
bitches love the
right
cards. We love cards. We love them.
Yeah, we love cards. But it is so it's a roguelike, and it's co-op, and it's got all these characters that you can play. It's not really role-based, though. It's not like these characters have different classes, although they have different weapons and kind of different play styles, but not what I'd really want out of this. To be honest, the game was just a little underwhelming. Now, it is in beta, so, give it some time. The difficulty is a little weird right now. So I noticed when I played single player, it was a lot more difficult. They give you like one buddy on your team to run around and shoot up zombies and collect crates. But then when you play co-op, it gives you, of course, I tried to play co-op and nobody was available to play. That's like a big problem with these demos. It's hard to find a community that's playing it because not a lot of people are checking these out unless you have like friends you can enlist. But when I played co-op, I just filled it with a bunch of AI bots, and it was way too easy. So I don't know. I think they need to work a few things out with the difficulty there. But I'm sure all that will come. It does have boss fights, which are pretty cool. And I got to say, this game is kind of difficult with keyboard and mouse, just the way that you aim. It's like kind of like Binding of Isaac, except you have a reticle. No, you don't have one in Binding of Isaac. You just shoot where you
can't even shoot 8 directions in that game, dude. It's just 4 directions: up, down, left, right. That's it.
So even more limiting. Yeah. So this one was a little tricky with the keyboard and mouse, but I think with a controller, it would be a lot better. And of course, you play through these levels, you beat them, you unlock more guns for characters. So there's that meta progression. But here's the thing, though. Like I said, the only reason that I checked this game out is because I saw Ghost Ship Publishing, and I was like, all right, that's a stamp of approval, or a stamp of a mark of quality. So I'll see what this is about. And I did the same exact thing for Spell Rogue, if you guys remember that game. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if that should really be influencing my decisions, not necessarily purchasing decisions, but games that I check out. And I don't know, does that happen with you guys where you see like, does the publisher at all influence your opinion of a game or make you want to check it out?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still a sucker for Bethesda. Like,
I'll come crawling home with it. Yeah. Paradox, despite every one of their games launching into, or I should say most of their games launching into mixed reviews because it's going to take a couple years for that game to cook. It's a grand strategy game. There's so many details. I go back. I go crawling back all the time, Bobby. I come yelling home. Paradox.
Do you think there's ever going to be a day where it's just like they're dead to you, like they just cross the line and you won't go back?
I would have to like a Blizzard situation, but they would have to really fuck up. They'd have to really fuck up. Yeah, because they've really abused me.
They've got a loyal customer there.
Yeah.
It's a crazy thing, man, but I don't know what's going on, but they're batting pretty much 1,000 with me, I think, and that's Devolver Digital. Whatever they publish, I enjoy.
They're like the A24 of video games.
Even if it's a fucking a genre that I don't like click games, just clicking for the sake of clicking. They had some Sputnik potato one. Loved it. So good. Like everything. Batting 1,000. It's insane.
They have a great brand, and they've yet to release a Green Knight. for the A24 reference, Bobby, that you just threw out. Hey, the bell gets covered in cum. It's weird. I don't get the movie. I don't get it. I don't get the movie.
When you messaged me a few weeks ago and you were talking about David Lynch movies to check out, and you're like, I think I'm going to check out Eraserhead. And I'm like, well, if you didn't like The Green Knight, I don't think you're going to like Eraserhead, dude. Like that's.
It's just weird. There was so much cum. There was more cum than I've ever seen. Like in any
outside
media.
your bedroom.
Clip that.
Yeah.
Put it out of context. New reel coming.
All right, Bobby, is that all you had for Guntouchables?
Yep, that's it for a Guntouchable.
Great name, by the way. I love a good pun. A gun pun.
A gun pun.
Ah.
All right. What are you going to swear to us about, Emilio?
All right. Little conflicted about this game, but maybe we're going to talk a little philosophy here. So, yeah. So, most people would say that this is a Hades ripoff, right? But, I mean, it is 95%, 98% Hades. Everything that you can think of. They're not gods this time. They're like spirits that give you the boons. But it's still boons, and they still interact with your weapons and your run through. And there's an overarching thing that plays into why you're dying over and over. This time it's Arthurian legend, like the Knights of the Round Table all went to shit, and you're there to fix it, right? And so the spirits are. You and Merlin are trying to overthrow them, right? But I mean, I could not say, yeah, like 95%. That's pretty much where it is. There's a couple things that depart it from Hades, and I'll mention those now. But it's like, okay, Hades came out a very long time ago. Hades 2 is now out, or in early access. At a certain point, like spiritual successor is one thing that's usually from the same developer. There's also like inspired by, but just blatant copy paste of all mechanics is rough, but this game's enjoyable. And this is why. So it has 4-player co-op. And,
great.
Yeah. And because how many times since Hades came out have I been like, it's like Hades, but multiplayer, but it's not Hades. This is actually Hades with multiplayer. You know what I mean? Like you get everything. It plays really well. The enemies are great. I mean, it's Hades. Pretty much straight through. It also has character types. There's 4 different classes, and each class has their weapons. And the last thing that sets it apart is, I believe your third attack, and help me here, Christian, your third attack on a weapon was based on the weapon itself, right? It would change. It would be light, heavy, and then the magical attack or whatever. And it changed per weapon that you pick up, right?
Oh, I think it was dependent on the weapon and like the artifact of that weapon that you've unlocked. I don't remember that happening for the basic ones, but I could be wrong.
Okay. Anyway, your magic attack is now a separately equipable item. So you can mix weapons and magic attacks more than you could in Hades. And that's pretty much. Other than that, the art style is a little more Darkest Dungeon. But John and I played this for a couple hours, and I had a really good time with it. It had all the feeling that I did with Hades, but I'm not passing the controller to somebody else so they could take their turn. They're literally there. And
Playing with you.
Playing with you, and the game scaling up. Like it was just the right amount of difficult. And I did feel the same thing I did in Hades, where like I need to die more, right? Because you're always trying to like die more to unlock more things, to get stronger, to come back, to beat, typical roguelike. But I mean, I think Hades was the pinnacle of roguelike. And so I don't know, is if you make a game that's a replica of a perfect game and you fall just shy, doesn't that make you like a 90% game? Because that's what the reviews are saying, 90%. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then is that okay?
Dude,
Like,
it's so crazy. I'm looking at the UI of the screenshots right now. Like the interface is exactly like Hades, like spot on.
sound effects, music tone.
Dude, I was looking for a music to end the show, so I searched Sworn soundtrack, and I was like, "Oh, this sounds like Hades." I didn't even know what the game was. I just was on YouTube listening to. It was like, da, 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 da. Yeah,
yeah. So, like I'm in this weird spot. I enjoy the game. I'm going to play the game. I'm not going to return it. It was $25. I think it's worth the money. But like on a moral side, I guess it's okay, right? Because it's been so many years. I don't know. There's been a lot of games that are like a lot of games that preceded them, but this is like the exact same game with like one feature. You know.
I wonder how this team feels. I wonder what their motivations were to make Windwalk Games. I haven't heard of them. But if it's Hades with multiplayer, I mean, that's a pretty decent pitch.
Yeah, it's a pretty decent pitch. That's exactly all right, guys, we need ideas. Let's make Hades with multiplayer. That's pretty much it.
Started yesterday. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
So, Christian, so you have the most hours in. Do you see yourself spending $50 so that it's 25 each, but you need two copies.
Right.
Yeah, because you have two Steam Decks. You aloof motherfucker.
I would love to play this this would be the perfect game for Reanimate. We're playing some Cult of the Lamb, Castle Crashers, or one person will be playing Civ, the other person will be handling the baby, like passing the controller. But yeah, nothing like Hades has really scratched that itch, and Rihanna has also been looking for a game like Hades to fill that. She just told me the other week, she's like, should I buy Hades too? Like I have this hole in my heart and like it can really only be filled by Hades. I mean, I wish they had a demo or something just so I could feel it out. But from what you're saying,
no, it's good, dude. It's solid. Like I was during the very first animations from the first enemies, I was like, this is pretty well thought out. Like this is pretty good.
Then I would. Yep.
So there it is. Take it for what you will. Relive Hades or buy Hades 2 or do both. I don't know what to tell you. That's up to you and your soul.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's soul's pretty sworn in, right? I mean, I don't know. I guess they could keep it going with the Hades likes, because I feel like there's going to be even more of those. You know, like I feel like a lot of times when a game really kind of stamps itself on the map, it's natural for the next like 5 to 10 years for tons of games to start trying to replicate that. We saw that with World of Warcraft and all the MMOs that erupted from that and being a lot like that. There's Diablo and all the ones that came from that, even Vampire Survivors and like all the ones that came from that. So I'm not really surprised that they keep driving the Hades home. But that leads me into my game that I put on the highlight, which is Keep Driving. So sorry, that's a long-winded transition.
I was wondering if we were going to get there.
That's
we
why,
drove around for a bit, and then we...
That's I had to keep driving. So no, Keep Driving is the game that I was playing. This game is awesome. So it is a atmospheric management RPG where it's all this retro 8-bit kind of art style, but it's cool because, you know, you kind of manage the trunk in your car and you're like living on the road. You start as like a young 20-something-year-old kid, I think, that's then driving across, it seems like Northern Europe, and the landscapes change, and they have a lot of really cool mechanics in this game that I've been really enjoying because I started playing it. Came out February 6th and is already overwhelmingly positive with 95% of people loving it and over 1,000 reviews. It's by YCJY Games, which, if I remember correctly, they're from Sweden. But anyway, so you can pick up hitchhikers, you can work odd jobs, you can upgrade your car, you select on the map like where you want to go. There's all these side quests. Like the one I'm working on right now is I'm trying to find a tent and go to a music festival. And then I picked up a hitchhiker who was he was a genuine hiker who wants to be dropped off at one part of the mountain. And by picking him up, because he hasn't showered in a few weeks and he's been hiking, I literally have a debug debuff that makes my energy drain because we're stinky in the car. So there are like really cool details in this game that are dope. As you're driving, you go through these like events. It might be like a high amount of traffic. It might be a whole bunch of sheep in the road. It might be a tractor you're behind. And they have it goes into like a turn-based combat system when that happens, which is super fascinating for a concept of like a road trip game. Basically, it can ding your durability in your car, your cash flow, or your energy. And you have all kinds of different things. That's where the management sim part comes into play, because you have these items that can help with that and combat that. So you might have like a candy bar that attacks them attacking your energy, so you can cancel it out so your energy doesn't deplete. They also have a skill system that is designed where as you drive and as you go through things and gains experience, and as you succeed in these like events on the road, this combat events or whatever, you then can level up, and they give you Polaroids that you hang from your like rearview mirror that you drag down to then like fight for you. So, and you can use the skill 4 times, which is cool. And
this
then they
is
also
so in
have
universe. Like, what great ideas! Yeah.
Is that like the memory of that thing? The Polaroid is the memory that you're using that experience?
Yes. Well,
That's
it's the Polaroid is, I think, a picture of something that reflects what that skill would be. So it might be like a beautiful view that always makes you feel energized. So that skill gives you energy, so then you can combat whenever there's something that's trying to attack your energy on the road. And so that's cool. And
like
they
what?
also have air fresheners too. Like there's different kind of skills that can give you random buffs to your thing. So like the combat system's super elaborate and so unique and just weird, but like works so well in this setting that I'm like super impressed with that. The storyline of this game is really cool. As you're driving, all of a sudden, like clouds will form and it'll be like intrusive thoughts, and you select different storylines of where your mind is going while you're driving. And if you go too deep, then there's now an event on the road where now you're too distracted and you're lost, and so now you're fighting that.
Wow, it's so cool.
You can pop out CDs and gain music while you're playing, and then you can put CDs in, and like the music and the soundtrack to this game is also really great. And there are these moments where you can explore and go hiking yourself, which then actually remind me almost like a boomer shooter of like Doom or something like that, like the original one, because you're moving kind of that way, but you're not fighting anything, you're searching. And so you'll find like a tent or an abandoned car, and like you'll get items from that then you have to kind of work and manage in your trunk. And so, I mean, this game is sweet, and it's such a cute little shorty. Like it takes on average most people 2 hours to finish it. It's like a 2 to 4 hour game. It feels like it has a ton of replayability with it as well. And so I'm really enjoying this game a lot. I'm hoping to finish it this week. I'm sure I will. And it's so much fun. And just, there's been such a like diversity in experiences so far, and I'm only about an hour in, so maybe halfway if I were to just beeline it to the end, because there's out in the wilderness where there's like there's plains and fields that like you drive through. There's already been some mountain landscapes I've seen. I've gone into a deep city. Like it's really cool and just beautifully really well done. And this is done by 2 people. There's only 2 developers working on it, one that did the programming, one that did the graphics and the design. And it's done so well. The details in this are really, really cool. I mean, you feel like you're driving some like 1980, 1990s, maybe early 2000 car, depending on which one you select. And it's sweet, like with the dash and how they did all of it. It's really, really well done.
I think just over 1,000 reviews came out 10 days ago. I think, guys, if you're listening to this, Amanda's found something early for you before you see the articles come out on Tuesday or Thursday, whenever it happens. There's something special going on here. Like, yes, I want to play this and I want to buy it immediately from what you've said. So that's cool.
It's going to explode. Yeah, I think so.
I think it's super worth it. And even so say like your car breaks down, like you can walk and like it drains your energy to go fix your car. Or if you run out of gas, same thing. If you were exhausted, you can sleep in your car, and sometimes the cops might show up and like get you. There's all these events that can go on in the game that, like I said, I just feel like it's super replayable. And it's just, I don't know, it's awesome. It's Steam Deck verified. I'm going to try and actually play it on the Steam Deck this week because this does feel like a perfect Steam Deck game as well. But it's fun on the computer.
Where are you going, Amanda?
Oh yeah.
Well, when I started and played the first, because there's a ton of side quests and missions that you could just get lost in. But the very first one is, I received an envelope and they have this really cute, it's such a cute little detail. It's like you open up the envelopes by holding down like essentially the same button that you would to give a gas on the car. And it slowly rips the envelope as you hold it down. And it's just those little details that I think are just like super fun. And it makes, it just makes it feel like it's vibrating as you're ripping the envelope open. But it was an invitation to go to a festival. And so that's my first mission. And that seems to be the main mission, but there's kind of no like main quest. Like all of these quests kind of seem like side quests, which is very on brand because if you were just living in your car, just driving around, what is the point? The point is to keep driving. Like that's the main mission is to keep driving. And so I think they've done a really cool job with this game. It's really fun.
Would you be hoping to do mushrooms in the desert?
Yeah.
Who wants to do that? That's great.
So apparently they really do have missions where you like question whether you go out and do drugs or not. Like that is a thing in the game. I haven't seen it, but I remember reading it and seeing that.
By the way, you had Bobby at 2 hours and inventory management. Like I saw him moving his mouse earlier. I think he bought it as well.
I straight up thought of Bobby when I was playing this. I was like, I actually feel like Bobby's gonna like this because it's cool.
Looks like a really good game. Yeah, put it on the wish list.
Nice.
Probably be checking this one out.
All right, I have a game. Sorry, was that it on Keep Driving? By the way,
that's it. Yeah, you can keep on driving to the next game.
Okay, I'm gonna talk.
Maybe lay down some roots. You know.
Yeah. The game is called Root. Capital ROOT. It is a board game port. It is a cute asymmetrical forest creature strategy game. You know, very the artwork. You know, very cute, very little. All these like little forest creatures harmonizing together. Good vibes. Except it's really a storytelling game about how power moves through society and how different factions wield it. And if that sounds intense, the game's pretty fucking intense, dude. So. What does an asymmetrical strategy game really mean? Amanda, if you could introduce the first faction.
Yes. So, the first faction from the democratic nation state is Marquet the Cat.
Yes. So, asymmetrical means that every style, the styles of It was great, by the way. It was great. The styles of play for every player are different. There's not symmetries in strategy because each faction plays completely differently, yet they can all win the game. So they're balanced but completely different. So the Marquis de Plat, if you are the Marquis de Cat, you play the game like an RTS. You're building lumber resources, you're building recruiters, you're recruiting little cat soldiers, you're taking over different plots in the forest, and it's pretty typical of what you would expect for any sort of strategy game. Amanda, could you introduce the next faction?
Yeah, so the next faction, or the next faction is the next fascist. Yes. Well, you know, they are clearly like the best, being the fascist monarchs. There's nobody better than them. They're the best. They're the fantastic. Everybody talks about them. They're the Eerie dynasties.
Yes.
So good. So fascist. So monarchs. Not very demure, but they're a dynasty, damn it.
Yeah, so the Eerie dynasty are these birds, and now if you play them, guess what? You play the game like cribbage. Very strange. It's only about to get stranger. They all play completely differently. So what I mean by cribbage is you'll start the game with a board in front of you, and basically you're playing a leader who got to power through this populist movement, and you have decreed that you are going to do certain things in certain orders. So if you don't move from a certain type of pasture to another sort of pasture on turn 2, you lose the game and you have to restart. You don't get any points. So you're doing things in order and you're scoring points off the combinations of cards that you have, kind of like cribbage. It's very strange, but still very fun. Amanda, next faction, please.
Yeah, the next faction. If you didn't like those last 2 factions, you said, no, fuck the man. I'm going to do my own thing. Come join us, the Rebels, with the Woodland Alliance.
Yeah. So
I'm all fired up.
Yeah, these are the rebels in this universe. So you're playing little creatures of prey. You're playing little mice, little crickets, little things that people step on and overlook. And you are playing the game now as if you were playing Pandemic, you know, that game where you're a virus and you expand over time. So you don't have buildings on the game board per se, but what you're doing is you're putting tokens down and you're managing an undercover network of, these little creatures. And if you successfully get enough support in a pasture, you will spring a rebellion up and you'll be hostile to everyone else on the map. You'll try to spread all out and eliminate everyone else. So again, completely original way to play the game. And the last faction in the base game, Amanda, could you please?
Yeah, man. Like, if you just, talk to those other guys and you're like, that's like your opinion, man. You can just come join me and we're just going to like do whatever we want. Just, be interesting and like walk around and just, live free. We could be the vagabonds.
Okay, so the Vagabond, you play one character and the game turns into an RPG. So you visit pasture to pasture, you're trading, you're getting different equipment, you are fighting, you're doing dungeons. You basically playing something completely separate, but you are contributing to the world because, of course, you can challenge some of the rebels, you can challenge the Marquis de Cat, the Eerie Dynasties. They will give you items so you're better and you might go on missions for them. And so the Vagabond is the 4th completely different way to play this game. And what makes this, like, why did I start playing this is I was at my friend's house. I was like, oh, you have this game. They're like, yeah, we bought it 4 years ago, but it's too complicated. I say, too complicated? Well, I'm come on, let me be the judge of that. And I open this board game and I don't think a million pieces describe, like, there's so many little doodads and thingamajogs because every faction plays differently. They all have separate tokens. They all have separate boards. There's so many units. I'm like, dude, I don't know where to start here. This is crazy. The manual is like this thick. I go to YouTube, I go, how to play Root. There is an hour-long introduction to the game, and then it's a 16-part series. I'm like, no. Okay, you're right. Way too complicated. So when I saw that they had the board game port, I thought, okay, cool. A lot of the managing of the little tokens and stuff, all that's going to happen automatically. The computer will do the math, and I can understand how to play this game by just playing it. I don't have to watch 16 hours of YouTube. So that was great. And the other thing was I watched a documentary. People make games. They do video game documentaries. Check them out on YouTube. Basically, intelligence agencies like the CIA around the world fund war games because what they're doing is they're giving specific parameters to a game. And they're saying, okay, how would the best strategy players in the world react to that? They'll host a tournament. They'll spend millions of dollars on these tournaments, hundreds of people playing, and then they'll analyze the strategies of what each people did in that situation. And they'll use it for real intel and real situations around the world. And Root, why it's so complicated is it comes from one of these little get-together chowdowns with intelligence agency sponsored war game events. So it's a cute game, but it's very serious, very complicated, and very deep. How did playing the game go? Does anyone want to?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for the introduction.
Yeah. Well, that's the main part of what I'm talking about here. I think I'm 10 hours into the game, and the game makes me feel like a dumbass. I'm playing the simplest faction, Marquis de Cat. I'm like, I know what to do. Lumber, build buildings, recruit soldiers, wipe everyone out.
It's your thing.
It couldn't be easier. And yet it's so fucking hard. The balance in this game is just really good. And it's really about what alliances you make with whoever else is on the board and then breaking that alliance before they win. Because of course, only one person can win the game. It's the first to 30 victory points, but everyone gets those a little bit differently. So I want to learn how to play it. I want to be good at all these factions. I have a fire within me to learn Root. There's like a Root community because if you're this far into the game, you're going to be super passionate about it. There's strategy documents. Like, there's a cool community around this game, and I feel compelled to join it. And I just want to ask if any one of you guys want to join me.
I'm too dumb to play this game, but
You can play the Vagabond.
Yeah. It reminds me of the asymmetrical RTS that Bobby was really wishing that came to fruition and just kind of didn't, from last year. You guys were talking about it?
It was dwarf something.
Yeah, dwarf something, where, there's 3 different factions. They're all playing a different style.
3 different roles. So that was a bit different. The 3 people were on the same team. And yeah, that game, that was longer than
the same team.
I hate to tell you this, wise fellow, but I think that was more like 4 or 5 years ago that we might have played that game.
Well, when you have 46 years behind you, they all seem to blend together.
Dwarfheim, I believe.
Yeah, Dwarfheim.
Yeah. But no, this is super cool, man. Like, you get 4 games in one. How does the Vagabond win? I guess, what are his win conditions? First of all, he's kind of like a wild card, I feel like.
Yeah. So the Vagabond, he even moves through different pastures. There's parts of the map that only he can move through, as if you were like the jungler in like an MOBA or something.
Yeah.
His win conditions are clearing dungeons, he gets victory points, getting certain gear, he gets victory points, and then making friends. So when he goes to a town, he can choose to trade with the town. And unfortunately, if he does this enough with you, you can't attack him. But he also gets points defeating creatures. So he wants to choose an ally, get friendly enough that ally can't betray him, and then go after everyone else on the board and level up his character. And he only gets stronger throughout the game. He's really weak at the beginning, but he's super strong and hard to stop at the end. Yeah. The Woodland Alliance, I feel like, is my favorite faction to play so far, because it's you sit in the shadows and you kind of see the chaos happening above ground, and then you choose like a spot is weak and that you put a lot of thought into, and then your rebellion springs up and now you're fighting guys. And but I forgot to write this here, but there's 16 expansion packs to the board game version of this game, and I thought, and they all introduce a different faction and a different way of playing the game, and I thought, surely they're going to sell these on Steam as different little DLCs, but it all comes with the base game. So if you are wanting to get really deep into something multiplayer, this game is designed to be multiplayer. You're supposed to be talking to other people. I don't think you really get it if you're playing against the computer in the same way. Check out Root, because it's cheap, super deep, and they keep coming out with new expansions, new factions to play, and they just update the base game on Steam. But board game peasants have to pay for it, because obviously it's like a physical thing and it costs money to to send that out and ship that out. So yeah, that's Root, guys.
I have an impression. This is Bobby introducing the 5th faction. It's the 5th faction. They're
10
a
out
bunch
of
of
10.
birds.
They're a bunch of birds. I really liked the 5th faction. I really, really liked it. Anyways, something I hate about the 5th faction. Oh, now we're picking on Bobby. Okay, on the radar, Bobby. Speak of
Bobby's
the
awesome.
All right. On the radar is the section of the show where we talk about games that have come to our attention. And I'm going to start out with SEDAP, a culinary adventure. Not sure how to pronounce that. SEDAP. I'm going to go with SEDAP. A culinary adventure. So this is a 2-player co-op cooking combat adventure. I guess one player is the cook and they stay at home and manage the kitchen. It's not a kitchen, actually. It is a mobile food cart that you drive around and you have to serve people a bunch of dishes. You play a bunch of little mini games to cook. And then another player has to go out and do the hunting and the gathering. They've got to go get the ingredients. So it's meant to be played with 2 players. Interesting idea. Focuses on the cooking. Has Southeast Asian inspired dishes like pineapple fried rice, banh mi. And also, if you look at the graphics and listen to the music, it's very Southeast Asian. You can actually check out a demo of this right now, but the game is coming out, I believe, March 13th, so about a month. It's an interesting idea. So it looks like it borders on that casual and also, I don't know, it borders on casual, but it's not like strictly casual. So this could be like a great game to play with a significant other or someone like a younger child or someone who's not like super into video games. Like it's got potential, and the graphics are pretty good too. Like they're a little more stylized than I would expect from something like this. So looks like a very interesting, cool game.
It looks like they took Dave the Diver and split it into 2 games for 2 roles, right? Because usually you have the one that goes and gathers and the one that cooks. I mean, the phase.
Yeah, well, Dave the Diver ended up, when you got later into the game, there were so many more things to do. You had to manage a farm. There were a few other things, but for the most part, you go into the sea, you find the fish, and then you do the restaurant management. I don't know if this game's going to do it as good as Dave the Diver did, because that was just amazing what they did there. But this one splits it up into 2 different roles, which is a cool idea.
It will come out during the Co-op Fest. Good timing for a launch. I feel like they split up Overcooked. Maybe they went a different way, and they were like, in Overcooked, the frustrating thing is like running into everyone else in the fucking kitchen who doesn't know how to walk. If you're in a hurry and you're carrying something hot, you're on the left side. Okay. Everyone knows this, yet people are fucking willy-nilly skirting around the kitchen like they're meteors in space. And instead splits up. One person goes out and hunts and one person does the cooking. Maybe it's a bit more chill that way. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. Overcooked, as fun as that game was, it was a little too intense. Like it was tough. It turned friends into enemies, I think. And that's not what you want from a co-op game.
No.
I shared a video on Discord of what seems like the boyfriend was up at the screen explaining to his girlfriend what she's doing wrong. She's like, it's clear. It's clear. I do the chopping over here, and you're serving the dishes. We can't be fucking up on the soup du jour. The soup du jour is easy. And then she's like, she knows that she's recording, but he doesn't. And she's like, yes, chef. Yes, chef.
Yeah. I had those conversations too at home with Rianne. Tough strategic conversations about what our role was in the kitchen. Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
Fun.
Side note, so SEDAP in both Singaporean and Malay mean delicious.
Ooh.
So it's kind of fun. It's delicious culinary adventure.
Oh, awesome.
Just a little random nugget.
In Spanish, it means gross. Bullshit. No, I'm kidding.
I don't know. I'm being joked to in Spanish. I don't know. Cool. Yeah. And they are from Singapore. Sorry. A lot of little tidbits on SEDAP. Cool. Emilio, what do you got?
I don't know. I was looking at other stuff. Where am I at here? Here we go. We are talking about Avowed. I've been talking about this a little too much, maybe, because I was excited, man. I want a new Skyrim, but maybe I'm building it too much to what it's actually not. But even what it actually is looks good too. So it's way more action than I think of Skyrim. I think it falls along the lines of Outer Worlds or Fallout. It's a first-person RPG, and you get to have up to 2 companions. I saw ACG's review of this, and he said that they keep just dying nonstop, and they complain about the armor and how their armor's not good enough, and how you have to buy them better weapons. But he's like, I'm out of money. So you just have to keep complaining, hearing the complaints. I thought that was pretty funny. He talked a lot about the verticality in the world, a lot of platforming, trying to finding hidden stuff. I've loved that kind of stuff since Borderlands 2. Like every time I was playing Borderlands 2 online, I was always the guy jumping on all the rooftops looking for the secrets, Yeah. And apparently that's what is in this game. So I love that. I love that it's a lot more Smash and less story and deep mechanics. Like it's all just pretty simple, and that the combat is super fun. And the reviews are really good. Comes out in 2 days. This is the 18th, It'll be coming out. It's free on Game Pass, which makes it even better because it's $70 on Steam. And it's 85% on Open Critic right now, which is great, you know? So almost free game for 85%. Like, I'll take it all day. And I don't know. I need this in my life right now, I think.
I can't wait to hear you play it, dude. Lots of people have been throwing that new Skyrim around.
Yeah.
Cool to see how one of our own thinks it holds up. What do you got, Amanda?
I'm also, by the way, side note, very excited for Avowed as well and want to be checking that out. But on my radar, I've got a game called After Love EP. So this game is on my radar because I'm a huge fan of Coffee Talk, and I really, really wanted to interview and like see what Mohammed Fahmy was going to be making a lot more of in his life. But unfortunately, about 3 years ago, he died of an asthma attack, and the team that he works with is a primarily Indonesian team, and they set out after his death to completely finish the games that he had started, the narrations and the writing that he had started, kind of in his vision and what he wanted to do. And this is the final installment of that. So there was the games in this kind of that I'm talking about with Mohammed Fahmy that he made was Coffee Talk 2, What Comes After, which I played a little bit. It's about a girl like on a kind of a subway, and it goes into like a whole afterlife thing, which is it was a beautiful demo in a game. This is the last game that he had written and had done, which is a kind of slice of life adventure where you are in Indonesia and he's trying to find his own, the main character, Rama, is trying to find his own way forward in his own life as a musician after the death of his girlfriend and somebody that he, like his first love. And so it's a beautiful narrative story that really kind of dives and looks into grieving and how to find inspiration, especially in music, after something that is so devastating a grief. And I just kind of feel like it's like a super beautiful, like meta full circle, you know, like I feel like this game has so much to offer when it's a team that is thinking of the grief of a loved one, creating a game about the grief of a loved one, right? And so I feel like there's so much to this game that's going to be really good, and it seems really fascinating and interesting. It's also kind of like a rhythm game as well, because you are an artist, so they've played that, or they put that in there as well. But this game just looks really sweet. Everything's hand-drawn as well, and it's story rich, and it looks to just be kind of like a beautiful story and adventure, and just kind of probably the last snapshot into the mind of somebody who was a really amazing storyteller in the gaming industry, and kind of somewhat of like an after love note or after love letter to him too. So I just think that it's such a cool story and like such a good background and like wholesome thing as well. That has such a high chance of being beautiful. So I definitely wanted to put that on the radar for people that wanted to check it out. Right now it's $18 on Steam. It's got positive reviews. There's only 22 reviews, but 95% of them are positive, and it seems like something that would just be really beautiful and wholesome and kind of a snapshot of a moment of history in a sense. Like, these games are going to be forever up there and are really unique. You know, to me, like Coffee Talk really, really struck out to me and like really kind of stayed with me in a way that like Spiritfarer did, right? And so I feel like this is going to be something that's kind of up there in that diaspora, which is just really cool.
Best on the radar, maybe ever. I feel like chills down my spine multiple times. Yeah. Thank you, Amanda, for
it's beautiful.
I feel like 22 reviews on this game. Maybe you've just shed light on something that not a lot of people really know about. You know, like, how did you find out about the story of what they were doing and why they made this game?
Well, I first saw this game kind of pop up in my like discovery queue, and they wrote from the creator of Coffee Talk, which, to be honest, I was at first like, how? Because Coffee Talk was created by one guy and he died in 2022. So I'm like, how is a game released on February 14th, 2025, created like truly. So I started diving into the story of it, and it ended up turning out to be like an actual really beautiful thing where this team was like, in his memory, we are going to finish his projects because we want them to be out there since all the writing is his. And so it's like a continuation of how much he made an impact to his team for them to dedicate all this time, even 3 years after his death, to put out his work. And so it's actually, I think, super beautiful. And then I was like, wow, especially given what this story is actually about, it is kind of chilling because he had made this story, obviously without the thought of what like the impact of his death was going to do on those that loved him, right? So it's just like, it's like this really kind of beautiful, eerie thing where it's like he kind of wrote a story to help people grieve him, which is crazy to me and like really fascinating and really, really cool and just, I think, really beautiful. It's also really sweet and beautiful, and I think a really smart choice that they released this on Valentine's Day when this is a game about grieving the one that your first love. And there's a bit of dating sim elements in this because there's moments where like the character is kind of like, well, if you want to feel inspired and move on, you've got to find somebody new. So he starts dating people and like things like this. And so I don't know. I think it's a really fascinating and like deep dive into something that might be a bit more behind the scenes of these video games, especially when we are talking about something that is a visual novel and the narration and the writing behind it and the writer behind it, right?
Great episode, Amanda. You fucking killed it this whole episode. From top to bottom,
on
dude.
fire, dude. Like, seriously.
Yeah, so good.
Okay.
Just cool.
Well, now we're going to go to
By the way,
how the fuck do we go from there? Yeah.
Tupac put out like 5 albums after he died.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that happened either or how that really transpires here, but whatever. I had to bring it up. Supposedly died.
Well, I mean, people do that. Like, I remember, there's quite a few artists, and we do hear of this happening with music artists a lot. But when does this happen? Or maybe I'm just not aware of it, of how much this happens with game designers and writers and people in the gaming industry, right? And so that's kind of cool to me to like kind of see this play out like that, I guess. I would have really loved to like talk to Mohammed Fahmy though and see what he would have created though, but it's really nice that at least people have been finishing his work so that way we get to still kind of see what was in the mind of him.
Awesome. Pretty cool, dude. All right.
So now I've got your sub dead. Coming to
so fucked.
Tagloro, 14 months. He just joined the crew, and he pays us. It's crazy. You don't even have to work for us to pay us. You can just pay us if you want. So there's a shortcut there. Anyway, thank you, Tag.
All the emotion that was built up in that moment, and then just the release of it was cathartic. You killed Bobby, by the way. I think we killed Bobby.
This is the one of like 3 times you ever get to see him smile. Everybody bask in it. Clip it. Yeah. Clip it. And then tie it to like the covering and come Green Knight thing from earlier.
All right, Bobby, what do we got?
We've got a few listener questions. We've actually got a lot of listener questions. We're not going to get to all of them this week. So if you don't hear yours, don't worry. We'll get to it next week. First one is from Zap. What's your single favorite thing about PC gaming?
It used to be the modding. It used to be, I could go on ModDB and I could find such different ways to play a game that I had spent $40 on for free, just for the love of the community and the love of the people who have been making games. But modding is kind of starting to be cross-platform, not in exactly the same way, but it's starting to move over. And so, maybe PC gaming, maybe I have to update my notes here about what I like most about it.
Originally, it was like there was just smarter stuff on the PC and games you couldn't get, like EverQuest and Ultima Online and stuff like that. And all it just seemed to be more technical and stuff. And, at that time I was looking for that kind of thing. Now, not to be mentioned or mixed up with the game earlier where I was like, smash good, story bad. But anyway, and I really like the perspective, man. Like, I like being way up close on my screen, like fucking 20 inches away. And like it takes up so much of your view. It's and I have this ultra wide monitor. It's like 2 steps down from VR, you know. It's just like you can really get immersed. When you're sitting on your couch and you're fucking 15 feet away and you have a controller in your lap and your arms are resting and like falling asleep, like, I don't know. It just seems like I'm up on and in the game when I'm playing a PC game. So
Right. Yeah.
there's that. Yeah.
Yeah, I also feel more immersed in a way too with PC gaming. For me, it's kind of like it's 2 different reasons. Like the first one is very hardware. I think it's really, really satisfying to like have a hand in building the thing that you're going to be playing and using all the time. You get to know the PC kind of in and out because you are in the hard, at least if you like try to either build your own PC or if you're upgrading it. I've always really enjoyed that aspect of the hardware. I remember how cool and smart I felt when I installed my first RAM, and which is funny because it's super easy, right? But like, you know, it's better than like sticking a stick in a PlayStation and being like, woo, right? So I guess it's it's similar, but still, it feels so good, like to understand the workings of your PC, and you get to really be nuanced with it and understanding all the different things that you can do. And there's so much more that you can do with a PC versus something like an Xbox. But to me, probably my absolute single favorite thing about PC gaming really is the community. It's a lot of the community tends to create its own content for those that absorb it, which is really fascinating. Like I think of like Second Life and Arc, and the modding community is another good one. Like these are people that play things that go, this is how I could make it better. Then they make it better and they bring everybody in. And like, that is just such like a cool thing and something that I love that is very unique to me, at least with PC gaming. Some of the best time I've ever had is one of the reasons why, even though everybody dogs on Fallout 76, I actually loved it. And I think it's a testament of the PC gaming community, because the first day that it launched, there wasn't really a lot of content, yet everybody playing actually created that fucking content by role playing as Vault Dwellers coming out for the first time, because we all were coming out for the first time in the game. So it's like these kind of moments of community, and all the times that I've had of meeting all these people in Arc, where we're forming these entire communities and like syncing together our schedules to do things to create these massive metropolitan areas with dinosaurs. I mean, like there's been such amazing memories that I have that are unique and not built in a base game, but come from the gaming community playing it. And I love that shit. It's awesome. It's the best thing. What about you, Bobby?
Amanda, first of all, whatever you had for breakfast, fucking, you
Maybe
keep
it's
that,
the time of day.
regimen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but
You know, 1 p.m. Yeah, mid-afternoon is my time.
welcome to the Amanda Show next week.
And she's on fire.
Yeah, I think you all touched on everything that I like about PC gaming. The customizability of, you know, building, the satisfaction of building your own computer. I mean, you know, that's the only reason I ever got into computers, was so I could learn to build them to play video games. And now that's my career, for better or for worse. But also, I just like the keyboard and mouse. Like, I'm more comfortable with that peripheral. And I'm sure there's ways to use a keyboard and mouse on consoles these days, but it's probably not the same. All right, next question from Skunk Pliskin. You are given the opportunity to turn one movie, book, or other media property into a video game. What are you picking, and what genre would it be? If your pick already has an adaptation, choose a genre that hasn't been observed. My pick is Escape from New York or LA as a third-person open-world shooter/action game.
The first thing that came to mind, because there's a thing that I enjoyed most from this year, I think, or this last year, was House of Dragons 2. So Game of Thrones would be really cool. I know it's just fantasy, but I was thinking like an RTS that culminates in like a dragon battle, where maybe if you lost a lot of territory, it's okay if you somehow accumulated more dragons. And then, I don't know, I think like an RTS that somehow ends in an action sequence, where like a PvP battle, you know, would be probably doesn't work really, but the idea of it is kind of cool. You know, like this person has 3 dragons, the other person has 2, one is bigger. And then on top of that, all of the, you know, crazy political and incest stuff. Whatever.
Nice.
You guys?
For me, I think of like either 2 of them came to mind right away. And one of them is my favorite book series is The Wheel of Time. And so I would love to see something that is either an open world RPG on a more Skyrim level of The Wheel of Time, where you could be somebody that was kind of like Perrin or Rand. So like you could be more of a blacksmith or like kind of more of a warrior, or you could be part of, I would totally take to like a Hogwarts Legacy ripoff where you're an Aes Sedai going through the school. And like, that'd be cool too. But, recently, I think it'd be awesome to have a crafting world survival game that is in the world of Silo, that show on Apple TV. That would be really dope.
That's a fucking great one. I love Rebecca Ferguson. Have I said that on my podcast before? Like, something about her, what she brings to anything I watch, I'm just like, okay, I will watch you in everything you're in, because I feel like
she's the actress?
Yeah, she's the main character.
Oh, I see.
Or one of the main characters. Yeah.
I would love to see a Seinfeld game, and it'll probably never happen. So there's been like this side project that somebody has had for creating a point-and-click adventure Seinfeld game, and it looks absolutely amazing, but it'll never see the light of day, I'm sure. And you can watch like videos of parts of the game that they've developed, and it looks incredible. But like I said, I don't think we'll ever see it, just for copyright and legal reasons.
That sucks.
All right, next question from Zed Leplins. Something I do from time to time in a game is turn the music off after listening to it for a while and match it with something else that I think would work really well. For example, Valheim and folk metal. Conversely, I'll pair the game with something that clashes hilariously, like Valheim and 90s hip hop. Fighting Eikthyr with Wu-Tang playing is a trip. Have any of you ever done this before? If not, do you have any pairings, serious or not, that you think would be fun? Thanks. Keep up the good work. And thank you for answering my question last week. Cheers.
I found this. Okay, my bad.
He's kind of like a sound Barnier. Pairings? Sound Barnier? All right. Fuck you guys, dude.
I don't know. I don't know. Those 2 neurons didn't click in my some space in between those.
I hear this come up from time to time. People think that, yeah, I could give a game a better soundtrack than this, or I like to pair it with my own music, but I don't know. Is this something you guys do often?
I don't do it often, but it does occur like a decent amount, I suppose. It kind of depends, and it depends on the music track. Like, am I going to do this for Civilization 7? Fuck no, because the music is so good. I don't need to. I don't care to. I'm actually excited to listen to the music itself, but especially in certain games, like I remember with Guild Wars 2 and RuneScape, like those games are so monotonous, and the music isn't terrible, but like I kind of get bored a little of it being the same thing, because a lot of times I don't want to play the same thing. I don't want to do the same thing, and that involves music too. And so a lot of times I'll get these kind of hilarious mashups, or especially with Ark as well too. Like, to me, it's the most funniest thing to be playing. Yeah, like hip hop or some really bass heavy music, and be flying around on a wyvern in Ark as a Paleolithic dude, and I'm just listening to like dubstep. It's very fun. And so I do really enjoy that. I feel like Dune Awakening will be one of those games to me, though, where after a while I'll be playing Dune Awakening and I'll just be playing some like rap or even heavy metal, like just blasting In Flames while shooting dudes and worms. So it'll be fun.
All right. Next question coming from Taco. First, I wanted to say that I appreciate you guys making entertaining content for me to listen to while I'm grinding Balatro or Rivals. What is a game that you beat in the past that you had to come back to for another run despite having a backlog to finish?
Well, first off, thank you. I love tacos, all types. And so thank you for being delicious pieces of meat in like a thin breaded corn thing. I've gone back to, I think, Crusader Kings 3, 3 or 4 times. I mean, maybe this isn't in the spirit of the question because it's like a game that you beat. But I mean, I've gotten to the end. That's kind of beating at least all that there is to experience in that game. And that game will always be one that I will go back to finish over every game in my backlog. Like every couple years, it's time for my Crusader Kings 3. I'm about to have an amazing medieval adventure that will stick with me until I die, that will take up valuable RAM space in my mind. It will never go away. If I have dementia, I will be talking in character as my Crusader Kings 3 character because it's just so core to like my identity and my thoughts. Yeah, Crusader Kings 3.
All right. Final question from False Josiah. What game soundtrack lives in your head and randomly decides to stagger out of the dark recesses of your mind to take over? The soundtrack for Unholy Heights does it to me a few times a year and made me think of this question today.
I'll say that that Build a Wall song from Bastion.
So good, dude.
Dude, I tried playing that song to everybody that I knew. Just like, listen to this, and I don't think it clicked for them as much as it did for me because, yeah, the game is a good part of it as well, and it just kind of fits in. But and it's also builds up to it because the narrator hums it while you're leading up to the first. Yeah,
so good.
So good.
It really hits. Yeah.
That's one of the very only songs that I've listened to outside of gaming.
Nice. I haven't played this game. The Far Cry. Oh God, now I'm gonna fuck this up. Far Cry 5 or Far Cry 6, which is the one with like the religious leader. I'm the
5.
Father. Come, child, come. And those who don't believe me, run. That's on my normal song playlist. It will just come on. It's such a banger, and it makes me want to play the game. But of course, I haven't played a Far Cry game since Far Cry Primal.
Wait, you didn't play 5?
No. Nope.
Oh, but you know the song.
I love the song. Yeah, can't get enough of the song.
Interesting.
Haven't played the game.
Where did you find the song?
I just heard it randomly as I was living my life.
Dude. Your story's not adding up, but all right.
I was in a back alley. Yeah. Amanda, what do you got?
For me, it's 2 of them. It's Skyrim for sure. The Dova King, yeah, like that sticks in my head. That sticks in my head all the time. But
to me,
if ever I feel like I don't have enough hair on my balls, I play that shit and it comes right back
instantly.
Right,
yep.
Testosterone right in the fucking balls.
Yeah,
that's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
It makes him jump a little bit as he's walking. Woo!
Yeah.
I got Bobby again. I got him.
I'm visualizing like a Chia Pet commercial. It
is. Fast forward.
Grow your own.
It's like Dova King, and then it just grows. The other one is Morrowind as well. So both Elder Scrolls, but Morrowind I learned how to play on the piano. Like I absolutely love that main song, and that song lives rent free all the time.
I think I've told this story before, but I had a friend who was in Spain visiting all the beautiful cathedrals, and she goes in and she's like, "Why do I recognize this song? What?" And she pulls out her phone, and it's like Secunda, Jeremy Soule. They're playing fucking Skyrim in a Spanish cathedral. Secunda, bro, because it's so good. It's so good. Yeah.
Or did they put that in Skyrim because it existed before?
No, I think that's an original composition, but
oh yeah. Who knows?
Yeah, might be a Skyrim and the egg situation, I guess.
Yeah.
What about you, Bobby?
All right.
I went with something a little more classic, the Super Metroid opening prologue. So that one is, I played a lot of that game when I was young, and I think a lot of the songs that get stuck in my head are from when I was younger, like a lot of the video game ones. And what's funny is those ones they don't have the fidelity back then on a Super Nintendo or Nintendo. But for some reason, they I just always remember them.
Bobby, you're a bit wiser than me. Could you give me a little 8-bit rendition of this song that you remember?
I can't sing, but it's like it's very orchestral. Like even though it's just 8-bit, I can hear. I would love to go to one of these video game concerts where they do video game music, and they take the old songs and they put like a full orchestra behind it, because like listening to the song, I can just hear the horns and like the different parts of the orchestra. It's so it's very like majestic. It goes like bum
Ooh, yeah.
and so on. Yeah. But yeah.
My ball hair just went back in my body.
Get you a Dovahkiin King. Let's go.
Yeah. Brought to you by Manscaped. It's
All right, that is our final listener question for this week. We've got more queued up for next week. What's everyone playing next week?
I'm just going to keep driving. And Avowed. Yes.
I might check out Keep Driving. That actually looks really cool. I talked about Guntouchables this week. I haven't been on the podcast in a few weeks. I have been playing a lot of games, actually. I've continued to play a lot of the other ones that I've talked about, like Scald, and actually been enjoying Marvel Rivals a lot lately, too. Had some questions, but Nick isn't here today, so maybe I'll ask him those next week. But who knows?
Who are you playing?
Yeah, Jeff?
No, Captain America actually is like my go-to now, and I don't know how viable he is, but these are, I trust Nick with these questions. I want to see if like I'm wasting my time with this, with Captain America here, if I should switch off to someone else. Cause I only play the S tier guys. I'm not messing around with like,
I'm not here to
I haven't seen a lot of Captain America.
Yeah, neither have I, which
is
is like got me thinking like maybe this isn't the guy to be spending all my time on, but I do enjoy playing him. But anyway, who knows what I'm going to get into next week. Christian, what about you?
I just wanted to have a community poll, maybe an intervention. Would anyone hate me? Yes, you listening, I'm asking you. If I talked about Civ again next week, how much trouble would I get in potentially? Let us know in Discord. Tag me directly, because
I don't think so, dude. Because the people that are not interested didn't listen to that episode, probably, and so a little bit of Civ is okay.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, maybe like a taster, like a Civ flight. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Amanda, did you say? Oh, you said already, and so did I. So now it's my turn to say something. All right. Speaking for Emilio. No, that's not the way it goes. For Amanda, Christian, Bobby, and myself, let's go with Guntouchable Titties, everyone.
Nice.
Goodbye.
And what are we listening to, Emilio?
I don't know. Fuck. It's awesome, bro. Keep driving.
It's the
West
Keep
Coast
Driving.
Swirl.
Yep.
I'm 19 again.
Angst.